Welcome back to Reds Fusion LFC, your home for everything Liverpool. Huge transfer drama today as Newcastle United officially shut down Alexander Isak's dream move to Anfield. But that's not all. The striker has broken his silence and delivered a powerful response after Liverpool's interest sent shockwaves across the Premier League. Stay tuned, Reds, because this one has all the twists of a true transfer saga. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated. With every twist and turn in the transfer window, Yendue. Wow. Newcastle United release statement refusing Alexander Isak dream. Liverpool transfer. Newcastle United have hit back at Alexander Isak following his shock statement earlier tonight. Newcastle United have released a damning statement confirming Alexander Isak is not for sale this summer. Just hours after the Swede took to social media to push for an exit, a club update has dropped refuting the bombshell claims. Isak had insisted Newcastle broke promises future while suggesting his position on Tyneside is now untenable. "I've kept quiet for a long time while others have spoken," he wrote on Instagram. That silence has allowed people to push their own version of events, even though they know it doesn't reflect what was really said and agreed behind closed doors. The reality is that promises were made, and the club has known my position for a long time. To now act as if these issues are only emerging is misleading. When promises are broken and trust is lost, the relationship can't continue. That's where things are for me right now, and why change is in the best interests of everyone, not just myself. And as fans were coming to terms with Isak's bombshell announcement, Newcastle fired back with a bold announcement of their own. The Swede has been told he is going nowhere this summer, with the door left open for a controversial return. "We are disappointed to have been alerted to a social media post by Alexander Isak this evening," a club statement read. "We are clear in response that Alex remains under contract and that no commitment has ever been made by a club official that Alex can leave Newcastle United this summer. We want to keep our best players, but we also understand players have their own wishes, and we listen to their views. As explained to Alex and his representatives, we must always take into consideration the best interests of Newcastle United, the team, and our supporters in all decisions, and we have been clear that the conditions of a sale this summer have not transpired. We do not foresee those conditions being met. This is a proud football club with proud traditions, and we strive to retain our family feel. Alex remains part of our family and will be welcomed back when he is ready to rejoin his teammates." Alexander Isak breaks silence on Liverpool transfer saga as major Newcastle decision made. Newcastle United star Alexander Isak has finally spoken amid the transfer saga that has dominated this summer. Alexander Isak has finally spoken out for the first time since his high-profile transfer saga involving Liverpool and Newcastle United began. The Sweden striker admits change is in the best interests of everyone as he continues to push for a move. On Tuesday night, Isak was voted by fellow players into the Professional Footballers Association's Premier League Team of the Year. As was reportedly expected, given everything that has unfolded in recent weeks, he was not in attendance at the awards gala held at the Manchester Opera House. But just minutes after his honor was announced, the player strongly admired by Liverpool took to Instagram and pulled no punches towards Newcastle in a statement directly addressing the ongoing transfer situation. He said, "I'm proud to be recognized by my fellow professionals with a place in the PFA Premier League Team of the Season for 2024-25. First and foremost, I want to thank all my teammates and everyone at Newcastle United who has supported me along the way. I'm not at the ceremony tonight. With everything going on, it didn't feel right to be there. I've kept quiet for a long time while others have spoken. That silence has allowed people to push their own version of events, even though they know it doesn't reflect what was really said and agreed behind closed doors. The reality is that promises were made, and the club has known my position for a long time. To now act as if these issues are only emerging is misleading. When promises are broken and trust is lost, the relationship can't continue. That's where things are for me right now. And why change is in the best interests of everyone, not just myself. Alexander Isak. Maintaining their stance that Isak is not for sale, Newcastle rejected a £110 million offer from Liverpool in August. As the Echo reported, Anfield Chiefs did not plan to follow up with another attempt at that stage. The Magpies' stance would have to change in order for the Reds to come back to the table, given their emphatic response to the club's initial offer. Isak has now played his cards with this statement, so it remains to be seen how his current club responds. Throughout the situation, Isak has not played for Newcastle in pre-season or in their Premier League against Aston Villa last weekend. His absence is set to continue when Liverpool travel to St. James Park next Monday, August 25th. Alexander Isak's statement, Newcastle star responds moments after Liverpool message. Alexander Isak sensationally claimed that his relationship with Newcastle cannot continue as he spoke for the first time this summer as his Liverpool transfer saga continues. Newcastle fans are convinced that captain Bruno Guimaraes has issued a cryptic response to Alexander Isak's bombshell statement. On Tuesday night, as he was named into the PFA Team of the Year, Isak sensationally claimed that his relationship with the Northeast club cannot continue. The Swede has been embroiled in an increasingly bitter transfer saga this summer after declaring his intention to seek a new project. The 25-year-old is desperate to force through a move to Liverpool, who have already seen one bid for the striker rejected. Isak is training away from his teammates after insisting he has played his final game for the club and was absent for their Premier League opener at Aston Villa. He also decided to stay away from the PFA Awards ceremony in Manchester, where he was named along with 5 Liverpool players in the 2024-25 Premier League IFN. And seconds after his inclusion, he spoke for the first time this summer, accusing Newcastle of breaking promises and, ultimately, his trust. First and foremost, I want to thank my teammates and everyone at Newcastle United who has supported me along the way, he said on social media. I'm not at the ceremony tonight. With everything going on, it didn't feel right to be there. I've kept quiet for a long time while others have spoken. That silence has allowed people to push their own version of events, even though they know it doesn't reflect what was really said and agreed behind closed doors. The reality is that promises were made and the club has known my position for a long time. To now act as if these issues are only emerging is misleading. When promises are broken and trust is lost, the relationship can't continue. That's where things are for me right now, and why change is in the best interests of everyone, not just myself. But just 2 minutes after that statement was dropped, Guimaraes posted an image of himself proudly standing in a Newcastle shirt. The Brazilian quashed speculation over his own future earlier this year by signing a new 5-year deal and remains a huge fan favorite. Supporters on social media certainly felt the timing of his post was intentional, one said. Bruno posting, "This literally minutes after Isak's statement tells you all you need to know. Our captain and we love you," a second posted. 5 minutes after Alexander Isak's dummy eventually fell out, our captain and legend of the club Bruno Guimaraes added this to his story. Another replied, Bruno Guimaraes posting this exactly. 5 minutes after Isak's announcement is sensational TBH. And a fourth added, Isak posts this, Bruno posts this 5 minutes later. Coincidence? I think not. My captain! Liverpool made ludicrous transfer decision, but I can't see any problems. For Arne Slot former, Liverpool midfielder Danny Murphy has spoken about the issues that come with a major squad overhaul after huge Reds transfers spend this summer. When it came to predicting who would be the summer's big Premier League spenders, few would have considered Liverpool, not least given the continuity that helped them storm to a record-equaling 20th championship last season, but a variety of factors have ensured Arne Slot is negotiating a squad reshuffle that has thus far seen 6 big-money arrivals and 8 notable departures, with the likelihood of more to come before the window slams shut on September 1. The excitement generated by new faces is undoubted, but so much overhaul prompts inevitable teething problems, as have been witnessed with Slot's side beaten in the Community Shield on penalties by Crystal Palace, and then needing 2 late goals to defeat Bournemouth at home in their Premier League opener. Former Liverpool midfielder Danny Murphy was part of a squad rejigged several times under Gerard Houllier. The influx of new faces in 1999 and 2000 helped propel the Reds to a trophy treble in 2001. But the missteps with the 2002 intake ultimately proved the beginning of the end for the Frenchman. So Murphy knows from experience the pitfalls that Liverpool must sidestep during what is likely to be a testing few months. When you get players in, you are looking at 2 aspects, the footballing quality and the mentality, he says exclusively to The Echo when speaking on behalf of newbettingsites.uk. Are they good enough to adapt to play at one of the biggest clubs in the world where you are expected to win every week? My situation was that I always felt I had to kick on again, otherwise I was going to be replaced. You look at signings coming in and think, oh no, not him, he plays in my position. But competition for places is healthy at elite-level football. You push each other every week, but there's no guarantee no matter how much money you spend. I remember us signing El Hadji Diouf instead of Nicolas Anelka in 2002, which seems ludicrous now. It was obviously a difficult decision for the gaffer at the time, but I think that was a big problem for us then. Anelka was special and on a different level to Diouf. Murphy adds, the recipe for success is firstly coming into a good group of players who are already confident and playing well, and also a good group who are welcoming and not closed off and full of cliques. You have to get everybody together. But I think because there is so much movement of players these days, there isn't the same possibility of hostility to new signings. Players are welcoming. I don't see any problems at Liverpool regards integrating players. It just might mean football-wise the first couple of months we will see some up-and-down performances. Newcastle issues ruthless. Alexander Isak response after statement totally blindsides club. Alexander Isak broke his silence after posting a statement asserting his desire to leave Newcastle United as soon as possible, but the club has told him he won't be sold. Newcastle United has told Alexander Isak that he won't be leaving the club this summer after the striker broke his silence on social media and issued a statement. Isak has made it clear to Newcastle that he has no intention of playing for the club again and missed the season's opening game against Aston Villa. Due to uncertainty over his future, Isak has been training in isolation, but head coach Eddie Howe hopes the striker can be reintegrated into the squad. Howe's optimism has been supported by the club, which was blindsided on Tuesday when Isak released a statement on Instagram explaining his stance. Isak claimed that Newcastle lost his trust and said the relationship could not continue, but the club has clarified that he won't be sold this summer. Isak's statement caught the Newcastle hierarchy off guard, but the situation hasn't changed. Isak was informed of the decision, and Newcastle responded by posting a public statement. We are disappointed to have been alerted to a social media post by Alexander Isak this evening, the statement read. We are clear in response that Alex remains under contract and that no commitment has ever been made by a club official that Alex can leave Newcastle United this summer. We want to keep our best players, but we also understand players have their own wishes and we listen to their views. As explained to Alex and his representatives, we must always take into consideration the best interests of Newcastle United, the team and our supporters in all decisions, and we have been clear that the conditions of a sale this summer have not transpired. This is a proud football club with proud traditions, and we strive to retain our family feel. Alex remains part of our family and will be welcomed back when he is ready to rejoin his teammates. Newcastle drew 0-0 against Villa on Saturday as Anthony Gordon and new signing Anthony Elanga shared offensive duties in Isak's absence. Newcastle will face Liverpool on Monday, Isak's intended destination. Liverpool saw a $148 million bid rejected for Isak earlier this summer, and the club is prepared to submit a new offer. However, Newcastle will only entertain a sale if a suitable Replacement can be signed before the end of the window. Newcastle has missed several targets this summer, with Liam Delap, João Pedro, Benjamin Sesko, and Hugo Ekitike opting to sign elsewhere. Liverpool signed Ekitike before the club attempted to lure Isak to Anfield. While Brentford striker Yoane Wissa remains heavily linked with Newcastle and Chelsea forward Nicholas Jackson has been discussed, no marquee signings have been made in that position. Should that change, Isak may be granted his move, but Newcastle has stood firm after seeing his statement. Mo Salah makes history at PFA Awards as Alexander Isak makes controversial choice Mohamed Salah has completed a clean sweep of Premier League awards with the Liverpool forward named by his top-flight peers as the player of the season for 2024-25. Mohamed Salah has made history after completing a clean sweep of awards. Liverpool striker Salah has become the first player to win the Professional Footballers Association's Player of the Year award 3 times. Salah had already won the Football Writers Association Footballer of the Year gong after a remarkable season which saw him help Liverpool win the title, which included his 29 goals and a career best of 19 assists.